Hey guys, on to the final book review for the day. I sent to a whole series on, but couldn't be bothered in the end. But been putting this off for a while, and it's probably best I get it done like on the 21st of April now, because I'm actually nearly finished with the first Bounty Hunter Wars book, The Mandalorian Armor. So yeah, before I forget too much onto it. So it's the final book of Fate of the Jedi series, Apocalypse. The only one criminally to use Jaina and Jag, but mostly Jaina on the, any cover. It's quite criminal. You got Luke on the front again, which is frankly insane, especially as a character Abeloth, the main villain. Excuse me. So a call coming in then, didn't want it to interrupt this video. The main villain, Abeloth, never appeared on a single one, which is mental. Yeah, I wouldn't sure if Luke appearing on lots of covers, same with Ben, but come on, Luke was on like 4 or 5 of them, it's way too much. And it also looks like a dodgy photo. I mean, I personally can't see it too much. A lot of people saying this looks like Obi-Wan in his episode 3 look. I can sort of see the thing with the cloak and that. Obviously, you ignore the black and white face thing, but yeah, the build does look a bit like, I can't see myself, but a lot of people do, and that's true, it's quite a lazy cover. So, on to it though. Spoilers way up to this, basically the entire EU. I've not read Crucible, but I've been reading enough of it, so now I'm not going to bother. Same with Mercy Kill, so to me this is the end for the EU. Rather, the Unifying Force is the end. I've never read Legacy comics. I like the setting, everything it introduces, but I don't like the story. I won't say what it is, but yeah, it feels like another rehash, much like how Legacy Force was a rehash of the prequels. So, yeah, 2021, I started reading everything essential leading up to the NJO. 2022, I read the NJO and then went back to other books, less essential ones. 23 was Legacy of Force, which I hated so much, took a break halfway through. Returned, eventually finished it, and that's how much I hate it, because rather than just reading this beginning of 24, I ended up saving it for late 24, September, after I got Lost Tribe of the Sith for my birthday in August. I then eventually went back to that. Bit of mind manipulation. My child was born in October, which is great, and I had an idea. Can I gaslight myself, manipulate myself into thinking something's better than it was? So I figured, can't be any worse than Legacy of Force. So I was reading these, and I was actually on one of the better ones at the time, book 2, but basically reading Fate of the Jedi at the point when son was born, I can always tell myself, even if these books suck so much, I read it at such a great time. Maybe I'll think back in the future, the books weren't so bad. Maybe my good memories of what I was doing besides reading that can interfere with that. I'll think better of the series because I was reading them at a good time. I mean, that's why I abandoned Legacy of Force after Sacrifice for a while. That's quite a YouTuber / good reader. Because I was off on holiday and didn't want to read the follow-up, which meant it was much, much better, Fury, a book from the series I hated, while I was supposed to enjoy myself. So, kind of similar thing there. I didn't want that to interrupt my, interfere my holiday in 23. And with this, I figured with these books, yeah, they may suck, but at least I'm reading them at a better time. They obviously can't make that the great time ever bad, but maybe I'll think the books are better than they were because I'll associate them with a good memory. Who knows if that works? But we'll see in the future. I'll send it to a whole review of all 12 because you can sort of see they're all in there. They're going to be getting sold off. I don't want to keep them. And Unifying Force is the ending. I'll just make up what happened after. That's not to say the whole series is a complete mess, but it is really bad. And it's better than Legacy of Force in the sense that it's not as offensively bad. E.g. certain Simpsons episodes, e.g. The Boys of Bummer, or Free Gays Lacondo. Those are offensive, or Millhouse of Sand and Fog, yeah, that's my number one. Those are truly offensively bad episodes, whereas the likes of, I don't know, Kill the Alligator and Run is just bad in a dumb way, or the Tennis and Menace episode is just dumb for basically throwing away the opening third, just to jump to the tennis plot. There's just stupid stories, but yeah, they wouldn't make me really mad. So it some has, and a similar thing. This Fate of Jedi really sucks, but it's not as bad as Legacy of Force. It's unfortunately much like book Millennium Falcon, tied to that terrible series, basically everything Jason did. And yeah, you can't get around it. That's got to come up. And yeah, the thing is, this doesn't even try to undo the damage it did. If anything, it kind of tries to back up Jason's actions even more. So let's get on to this. So book 12, Apocalypse. So the Sith have basically taken over Coruscant. The Jedi are slowly moving back in and eventually beat them. Abeloth is beaten again, although this seems to be the final defeat, but it's probably not. Luke and some new Sith Lord, I won't say his name, but anyone who's read the Legacy comics knows who that is, shows up to help beat Abeloth once and for all, sort of like a mind battle. You got all the other stuff going on. You got Coruscant like being destroyed with Abeloth's work, volcanoes randomly erupting, so no doubt more billions of deaths. They kind of ignored after the NJO. What Coruscant being livable again when it shouldn't have been for decades, and it's just stuff like that. So it's not all bad. Jaina finally gets made a Jedi Master, which is brilliant. Talks about been done to her family and how she's never had the best stories. Barring some that. She was always the future of the Jedi, but if they hadn't killed the EU, I think they would have skipped her just to make Ben the focus of the Jedi, and then Alana the focus of the Jedi. But Jane only appears on the back. If you don't even have a hard back, you'd never know that. She should be on the front of this well before now. I know she's on the front of Invincible, but just an action shot, something like that, would be much better. And yeah, great to see Jag on the front as well. He's easily the most essential non-Force user and has been for years, so it's great to see him. And he's the one that took Alama Ra down in Legacy of Force, which was great after her ridiculous survival skills, like plot armor. Speaking of which, also the people she met as well. That's a big nod to Legacy back then. But so good moments that Jaina finally gets given the rank of Jedi Master. Her and Luke and Corran basically both together. Clearly, they mentioned at the beginning actually there's a plan for someone to be named a Master there. That's obviously Jaina. It's not just a spur of the moment thing. Luke and Corran both calling her Master Solo, which is just extremely cool. And it ends with Jaina getting married to Jag, which is great because, Troy Denning was putting off enough. He clearly wanted her with Zek. And that was finally. We didn't get the Zek story solo, which is annoying, but he got together with one of Tenel Kar's cousins, so that finally wraps that up and stopped the chance of wanting both of them as one dodgy scene in Legacy of Force. So you got that, which is great. It's not treated a huge big deal, no massive masterhood celebration, nothing like that. It's kind of just quite low key. Come take your seat, Master Solo. Okay, and it's quite cool that how Luke's order do things differently. You've got that's probably the one great bright spark in the book, to be honest. Then you got the bad. So Vestara has basically just been pulled back to her Omen personality. Along with sacrificing that Jedi to save Ben in the previous book, she's now just thrown a lot in with the Sith, although she can't go back to the one lead lost try the Sith because, things she's done, she'll just be a target there. She won't just take control, so she basically goes off with bloody ship helping her escape, letting her know there are other Sith out there that she can join up with. And so all the hope of Vestara becoming, redeemed or a better person is all just thrown away because I've heard somewhere Troy Denning say he didn't want to basically copy Luke and Mara with Ben and Vestara, which, okay, but don't spend 8 books setting it up just to, not 8, 6 or 7 books setting this up just to throw it out then. Why do all this in the first place if you're just going to scrap the story completely? So the same with Jason's story. They've changed his motivation so much. First it's he didn't want to kill the Dark Man because he thought that was Luke, and then obviously he just became the Dark Man, and then it's suddenly he couldn't, and Luke asked him quite easily, why didn't you talk to me about this? I was thinking, why didn't you talk to anyone about this? He just wanted to save the galaxy himself and not get any help or talk to anyone about his fears. Because my daughter was with him. What, he couldn't tell Luke he had a daughter? Maybe these bizarre politics, with Tenel Kar and her family. He can't reveal her name, but because of that he couldn't tell Luke he has a daughter, and that is he wanted to save her from being with the Dark Man, sitting by his side on the White Throne. It's what was going on with Jason? I like that in one of the previous books his Force spirit kind of appeared and didn't feel any guilt for what he did. As much as I hated Jason's actions, they made no sense. At least he stood by them. But then they just keep changing it over and over to try and show that he was right in what he was doing. This vindicates Jason, knowing he was doing it for a good cause. No, nothing was for a good cause. I think White and Breaking Bad, none of the things he did were good whatsoever in what he told himself. And similar thing with this. So, not the greatest ending of all. I don't know if I prefer this to Invincible. It's hard to say because at least you get a happy ending with Jaina getting married, which is great. It's sort of a happy ending, but there's still so much more to it. And the problem is this other Sith will just showing up out of nowhere to help Luke, and it's they're going to go after him. They're going to find who this guy is. So his ship says there are other Sith out there, so it's obviously this guy, and he's obviously got a group. Okay, obviously Disney killed the EU. It ended with this Crucible and Mercy Kill, but obviously it was a Mercy Kill. But what would have happened next? There's Sword of the Jedi got cancelled, which obviously sucks. Jaina would have finally got a set of books on her name. But we have Luke looking for the Sith Lord will, you know, Crucible had the big three retiring. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Let Luke just be like Yoda teaching the children, but coming out into fighting when needed, but just being more of like an older guide. Who knows? I don't think that Crucible would have ever been a last hurrah for them, but who knows what would have happened next? How should the Disney trilogy have been set after this book, after the Legacy comics? I think Legacy comics would have been the best thing of all, because yeah, the story in there is very similar to a previous story, and of course Disney's trilogy is very similar to that. So say it after that one, and there's no problem. So yeah, that's it. So overall, it's got good moments, but it's not the greatest stuff. It doesn't make me as angry as the likes of Invincible, but where are the stakes, to be honest? Yeah, billions were dying, but we don't know who these people are. You know, Abeloth, is she like going to come back again? It seemed like she wasn't truly beaten, like every time Luke kills one of her bodies in the previous books. They're just Kenneth Hammer's death in book 5 was brutal, even if they then acted like it was no big deal. And you get the Barbarelle. That's it. Like, is that it? Yeah. Where are the stakes? I know in Unifying Force, same sort of thing, have no major characters die, but there was enough of it through the series to sort of mean the final, but didn't need to be a bloodbath of named characters. But that's not the case of Effect of the Jedi. So many characters, one of the Horns could have been killed. Nope, although bad idea, because we need more young Jedi, but which you don't seem to have. And Ben having no friends. But yeah, Tahiri hanging out with with the Empire is good, because maybe she's going to be a Jedi that will serve the Empire, not the GA. Who knows? Well, who knows what would have happened next? I guess we'd have never found out. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, these videos are so damn unstructured. It's just so hard to think of like things to talk about. If I was I'm planning on rereading the Darth Bane books and Dark Lord Rise of Darth Vader this year, like I did with the Heir to the Empire trilogy last year, so I have a lot more positive to say about those ones. Yeah, it's kind of, now this is done, I've gone back to the Bantam books for the lots I missed, like Tales of the New Republic, Empire, etc., from Jabba's Palace, the Bounty Hunters trilogy, Luke Skywalker and the Shadows of Midnor, Black Fleet Crisis, so many I'd never really read, which I'm looking forward to doing. But yeah, that is it. So maybe I should start doing Warhammer book reviews. This channel is getting quite quiet lately. But yeah, I've got more of these coming up. I've just finished Hunger Games prequel, maybe that should go in. But enough of that, the video will just overrun, and for that, enough into Star Wars. But yeah, that's it. So hope you enjoyed this, and until the next one.